When looking at the history between Ireland and Britain, one can describe it as tumultuous. During the 19th century, the island of Ireland was placed under direct rule of Westminster from the Act of Union 1800. However, from the late 19th to the early 20th century, the people of Ireland began looking greater autonomy from British rule, first seeking only greater autonomy in the form of home rule, which is such an interesting topic that it actually warrants its own video. But after the failures of the Irish Parliamentary Party, or IPP, to gain a sufficient Home Rule Bill and the reaction of the British after the 1916 Easter Rising, this led to many nationalists demanding independence from Britain. This all came to a head in 1919 with the Irish War of Independence. December 1918 saw the first general election in 4 years, and it saw the new Sinn Féin party, which translates to We Ourselves, claim a landslide victory, winning 70% of the 105 Irish seats. Sinn Féin stood on an independence mandate, wishing Ireland to be completely independent from the United Kingdom. Sinn Féin's MPs practiced a policy known as abstention. This is where they refused to take their seats in the Parliament in Westminster, a policy still used by the modern-day Sinn Féin party in Northern Ireland. Instead, the new Sinn Féin MPs formed the first Dáil Éireann in 1919. The new Parliament of Ireland, which they held in the Mansion House in Dublin, and its first act of the new Dáil was to reinstate the 1916 Easter Rising Proclamation and declare independence from the United Kingdom. At the same time, in Solohead Beg, County Tipperary, Irish volunteers led by Daniel Breen shot 2 RIC officers, Constable James MacDonald and Patrick O'Connell, who were escorting explosives. This was the opening shots to the Irish War of Independence. Throughout 1919, such attacks by Irish volunteers, later reformed into the Irish Republican Army, or IRA, in August 1919, led to the deaths of 19 RIC policemen. In September 1919, the Prime Minister of the United Kingdom declared the Dáil to be illegal and outlawed the Sinn Féin party. Throughout 1919, however, the British government paid little attention to the violence in Ireland due to their attention to the Paris Peace Conference. Furthermore, the British viewed the events in Ireland as nothing more than civil and criminal disorder, and so it was the responsibility of the RIC to deal with. In the opening months of 1920, the war for independence intensified as the IRA attacked RIC and British Army barracks. In March 1920, the Minister for War, Winston Churchill, sent the RIC Special Reserve. These were ex-soldiers who, due to the uniform shortage, wore a mix of British Army tan uniform and black uniform of the RIC, earning them the now infamous nickname, the Black and Tans. By August 1920, the Black and Tans were further supplemented by the auxiliaries, who were ex-British Army officers. The Black and Tans and auxiliaries proved to be undisciplined, vicious and brutal, and as the war went on, they became increasingly more frustrated with the IRA hit-and-run tactics. This led to the unofficial policy of reprisals. This is where British Crown forces took out their frustration on civilians, for example, burning towns such as Balbriggan. Many more Irish towns would burn before the end of 1920. In terms of Ulster in the north of Ireland, it proved to be more deeply divided. There existed in Ulster a large unionist majority who wished to remain part of the United Kingdom. During the Irish War of Independence, the Ulster Volunteer Force fought to keep Ulster part of the UK. Finally, in December 1920, the Government of Ireland Act was passed by the Westminster Parliament and officially set up the state of Northern Ireland, a petition that still lasts to this day. As 1920 went on, the war intensified, and entered what is generally considered to be its most brutal phase. The IRA, although under the official command of Cathal Brugha as Minister of Defence, looked more to Michael Collins for leadership. Collins proved to be a phenomenal commander for the IRA. He set up his own professional squad, nicknamed the 12 Apostles. His squad assassinated many of the RIC's intelligence agents, known as G-Men, leading to the British to send their own intel squad, known as the Cairo Gang. Following months of intel gathering on the Cairo Gang, Collin's 12 apostles launched a coordinated assassination of the gang on the 21st of November 1920, killing 11 of the Cairo gang members and 3 civilians. In response to this, the Black and Tans and auxiliaries committed an atrocity that has now become known as Bloody Sunday, where Crown forces opened fire on a crowd during a Gaelic football match at Croke Park. This reprisal resulted in the death of 12 people and the further 60 injuries. Later on the 11th of December 1920, after an IRA attack that killed 1 auxiliary and wounded 11, the Crown forces set fire to Cork city centre and shot at firefighters who attempted to tackle the blaze. It was around this time that Eamon de Valera, the president of Sinn Féin and the Dáil, returned from America, where he had been attempting to gather support from the independent Irish Republic. Seeing he had lost control of the IRA, he ordered a conventional military attack on the Dublin Customs House on the 25th of May 1921. This turned out to be a disaster. The attack resulted in the single biggest loss for the IRA during the war, resulting in the death of 5 IRA members and the capture of 80. By July 1921, both sides accepted the need for peace and signed a truce. The IRA campaign forced the British to realise that the IRA couldn't be defeated militarily. And by the signing of the truce, Republican leaders, most prominent of which was Collins, believed that the IRA had only 3 weeks left until they could no longer fight the British. The Irish War of Independence would prove to be a defining moment in the modern history of Ireland, and would be followed by the signing of the Anglo-Irish Treaty, which saw the creation of the Irish Free State and later was the cause of the Irish Civil War. Both these topics are highly interesting and also deserve their own videos.